We've had a terrorist attack in the state of Mali, and we are so sad, we as Africans, so sad that Mali had to undergo this. But at the same time, we are praying with the people of Mali that things will be okay. Now, immediately after the attack, there was a press briefing. Okay? So there was a press briefing from the army chief on what really transpired. But according to the army chief, he's saying that the attack was not that much. So the attack was tackled. Okay? So we can have a look at what the army chief said so that when we come back, we can continue analyzing the video. But for those who don't know, what happened is this. We have two groups in Mali, sorry. So in Mali, we have two groups, the Jenim group and the FLA group. They came up together, even though they were fighting against each other previously, so they combined forces and they had to attack the government of Mali with one aim, to cause instability. Let's have a look at what exactly the army chief talked about in relation to what happened on 25th day of April. Then when we come back, we can analyze the video.
Ambush during the night of April 17th to 18th. Encouragement to our Fama in Nioro under the leadership of the commanding officer Lieutenant Colonel Siaka Kumari. They have just apprehended armed terrorist groups moving through the western area of Nioro. The report indicates several terrorists neutralized as well as motorcycles, weapons and personal belongings recovered. Let us listen to the explanations of the commanding officer. He is speaking to Musa Diakite.
According to reliable and verified sources, there have been reports regarding the movement of a large detachment of armed terrorist groups. These groups were observed traveling from the area of Diasekufoi and are heading towards the locality of Bema. This destination is situated 35 kilometers to the southeast of the town of Nioro. And then the necessary and highly strategic countermeasures were immediately taken, which involved the rapid deployment of the Specialized Quick Reaction Force from the 42nd Reconnaissance and Investigation Regiment in order to carefully set up a tactical ambush and successfully intercept the approaching enemy convoy. And these specific operations actually took place between 1 o'clock in the early morning and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And just as previously anticipated in the detailed intelligence reports, the enemy forces arrived at the location at approximately 12:45 a.m. and hostilities began. Because of the clever strategic ruse, the meticulously planned tactical trap, and the overwhelming concentrated firepower of the elite forces stationed on site, the enemy was completely overpowered and fled in total disarray, leaving behind their entire heavy arsenal, including weapons and supplies, as they scrambled to escape the battlefield. The fighting was fierce and the firepower was significant. It was a high-intensity battle. The enemy suffered heavy losses in human lives and wounded. And the results of the operation are as follows: 15 motorcycles, 12 submachine guns, 2 RLCs, loaded magazine boxes, personal belongings such as backpacks, sandals, blankets, among others.
My hope is that no foreign government is backing what is happening in the Mali region, because that one will be a very bad picture. Okay? So, for those ones who don't know, previously, Mali's government, they were being supported by the French forces. So before President Assimi Goïta took power, I think it was way back in the 2020, if I'm not wrong. So before President Assimi Goïta took power, Mali was being supported by the French forces. Now, immediately he took power, so the French forces, they had to leave. Okay? So they left, and Mali started cooperating with Russia, which in turn gave out its mercenary by the name Wagner Group to come in protection of the state of Mali. Mind you, Russia offered 2,500 Russian mercenaries to be in Mali, to protect the president and the government in place. But you know what? I don't think if this one was enough, because Mali itself, it has, if I'm not wrong, less than 50,000 armed forces. So they are somehow overpowered by these rebellious movements within the country, trying to take things by themselves. So we have two rebellious movements. We have what we call the Jenim, okay, which is one of the deadliest terrorist organization within Mali, if that's what I can say, terrorist organization, because the group is labeled as terrorist organization. So we also have what we call the FLA, Azawad Liberation Front, okay? So this one is majorly a combination of Tuareg fighters. If you don't know who Tuareg fighters are, so we have a tribe in Mali by the name Tuareg. So they are mostly found in the northern part of Mali. So they have their own forces, which purposefully they want for, they are advocating for their liberation. So they want the northern part of Mali to be liberated from the rest of Mali. Can you even imagine that? So they are fighting so hard to make sure that the rest of Mali is totally divided from the northern part of Mali, okay? And previously, these two groups, the Jenim and the Azawad, the FLA, they were fighting against each other. But now, on this attack, they had to come up together and launch an attack against the Mali government. An attack that was thwarted, according to what the chief of forces is talking about. That even though they had an impact, the impact was not great. But that being said, we have seen that the impact led to the execution of the defense minister, who was playing a very crucial role in how the government was operating in Mali. In fact, for those ones who don't know, this defense minister by the name Kamara was the one who was at least seen to be a potential successor of Assimi Goïta, because he had so much experience on how the region was working and how the terrain was working. So he was seen as a potential successor to Assimi Goïta. Unfortunately, he was assassinated. He was killed alongside his wife and two kids. That is sad. And this attack happened at exactly 5 a.m. in the morning. And according to sources, the militants and the militias, they had to go to the mosque. This mosque was the same mosque that this defense minister used to go there for the prayers. So maybe they were manning this minister for so long. And that basically means one thing, that this one is not a religious war. No. Because if it was a religious war, most of these fighters, they are of Muslim religion. And they had to attack a mosque where this leader was. So this one is nowhere a religious war. So this one is just a war of interest. Okay? For the Azawad, they want liberation from the larger Mali. Okay? They want a total liberation from the larger Mali. And for this other group, the Jenim, they are fighting for total liberation of Mali as a country, so that the country should adopt the Sharia law. Okay? So they want a Muslim state where the Sharia law is to be adopted. We are sorry for the Mali people, and we hope that things will be okay with them. For Africa, we are sorry for them. I have just received some news here that a good number of African leaders have condemned the attack, spearheaded by the African Union. We've also seen that President of the AES, that is President Traore, has also condemned what happened in Mali. We are yet to see the president of Mali, President Assimi Goïta. We hope that he is doing well, because since the attack, President Goïta has not been seen in public. Just some few minutes ago, we've just seen the Prime Minister of Mali, who was giving a press briefing and urging the Malians that things are in control, they should not worry. So we as Africans, we are praying for Africa. We are praying for peace within the Sahel region. We are praying for stability within the Sahel region, so that at the end of the day, we may come out as victors. So thank you for showing up. We are praying with Mali, we are standing with the people of Mali, and we hope that at the end of the day, they will emerge as victorious, and we have to catapult this continent to another level.